Says we are now live, so that means we about to get started. We about to get busy. Hope everybody's had a great Thursday. We got beautiful weather again here in Miami. We had a little bit of rain in the morning, but it's cleared up now. Hope everybody's having a great afternoon, evening, morning, night, depending on wherever you happen to be. We're going to get started in a moment. We're going to give everybody a minute, maybe a minute, to get into the room, and then we're getting right into the material. Topic here today. Y'all see it. So we just gonna wait. We're waiting for people to get in. If you happen to be watching this on replay, you can hit the like button, you can hit the share button, and you can leave a comment if you got something that you want to add to the conversation if you're watching this on replay. But if you're watching it live, you can leave a comment right now. Tell me who you are so I know who I'm talking to. And if you got any questions, I will address those at the end. But we're gonna get started in we're gonna give it about 30 seconds for everybody to get started. I'm gonna just give everybody a minute to come in, find yourself a comfortable seat, turn your volume up, get yourself somewhere where you'll be comfortable for the next, let's say, 20 minutes. Get yourself a nice, refreshing, cool beverage. Get yourself something to eat. Make sure your phone is charged or your laptop, whatever you got. If you got a dog or something making noise, quiet them down. You got kids, make sure they're being quiet. So as y'all coming in, we're about to get into it. We're going to get started in like 30 seconds. So, actually, we're about to get started now. I'm going to introduce myself, then we get right into the material. Let me turn my light on, make sure y'all can see me. Boom, you see that? So my name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a former 9-year professional athlete. I'm author of 26 books. I'm working on book number 27 right now. I'm actually working on 27 and 28 at the same time right now. But I've published over 15,000 pieces of content online. I told you I'm a former professional athlete, written 26 books. I've done 4 TED Talks. And I do all this under the umbrella of this company I made, this brand, this philosophy I created that is called Work on Your Game. It's all about taking the mindset of a professional athlete and teaching you how to apply that mentality in your business, in your sport, and in your life. If you happen to be an athlete. If you're not an athlete, how to apply it in your business and your life, because we all got some form of business that we do. Work on Your Game is one of the books that I've written is right here. I'll tell you about this book later on today, as I usually do. And I'll tell you about how you can get each one of these books or both of them for free right now. But we'll get to that, not now, but later on. But the topic here today is the many reasons why you would want to write a book. Now, some of y'all may be wondering why I'm talking about this, and different days I talk about different stuff. But these are all things that, anything that I talk about here on these lives is based on a question that somebody has asked me. So I create something that can answer that question. So any of you who's ever thought about writing a book, or you were considering writing a book, or you have always said to yourself, I should write a book, or I want to write a book, but you haven't really gotten around to it, maybe what I share here today will help push you over the edge to actually start doing it. Or if you never thought about writing a book and you hear what I say here today, maybe what I say will push you over the edge, and not even over the edge. Maybe it'll just get you to stand up and say, you know what, maybe I should actually write one. I was just listening to an expert call in this business group that I'm in, and the guy who runs it, he had an author on there, not an author, well actually guy is an author, but he runs a company who helps people write books, and he was talking about this. So it made me think, man, I have talked about why people should write a book before. Why don't I talk about it right here on the live today? So anybody who is considering it, or any of you who maybe never thought of it, today we're going to address that, and I might post this to my IGTV, so anybody else who has the desire or the question, they can get it too as well. So as y'all checking in to what we're doing right here, we're going to get right into it. The topic, once again, the many reasons why you would want to write a book. And being that I've written all these books, I'm always telling you about my books. It only makes sense that I would give you some reasons. Number one reason why you may want to write a book. What's going on, everybody coming in the comments? The topic, again, we talking about why you want to write a book. Number one reason is for business. I mean, now, whatever way you consider your business to expand, now we all know that business is the exchange of resources. So, of course, you can make money from writing a book, or you can make money from the profile that you build through writing your book. You might not make a lot of money off sales of the book. Maybe you will, maybe you won't, depending on what kind of deal you got in place and who you're selling to, and how much you're selling it for, and everything you got on the back end. A lot of things could affect how much money you make off selling a book. However, if you write a good enough book and enough people read it and know about it and like what they read, that can raise your profile. When your profile goes up to a certain level, then that'll allow you to do a whole bunch of other things. So let's just say your main thing is not even writing books. Your main thing is maybe you're a coach or a consultant, or you're a professional speaker, or you got your own TV show, or you got a magazine. or you're on TV, whatever it is that you do, you're on somebody else's TV show, whatever it is that you do, if you write a book that gets the right attention of the right people in a favorable way, that could contribute to everything else that you have going on. So writing a book is not just for the purpose of writing a book. Again, depending on who you are. Some people, one of the main drivers of their business is writing books, and they make money directly off selling their books. Again, depending on many factors. But you can use the fact that you've written a book to do a whole lot of other things, even if you don't make a single dollar from the book that you've written. And writers of all genres do this, and it absolutely works. And think about it. If you ever purchased a book or read a book from anywhere, then you have contributed to it. You read that person's book, even if you didn't buy it, even if you downloaded somebody's book for free off Google. If you read the book and you appreciated that book and you told somebody else about it, what were you doing? You're raising that person's profile and you're letting somebody else know about that book, and that can help them business-wise. Even somebody who's not alive, people who are dead still are getting burned personally, brand-wise, off their books. Point number 2, topic here today is why you will want to write a book. Second thing you'll do is you can help other people. Now, a lot of people get into business because they want to help other people in some way. Often, we choose to help people with the same things that were challenges for ourselves. So whatever you may have struggled with in your life, or maybe you're struggling with now, once you figure it out, then you'll help other people with that thing. All right, you figured it out, and you had to go through all these things to try to figure out what works and what doesn't. Now you have all this expert knowledge and the thing that you used to be terrible at, but now that you figured it out, now you can help other people who probably are going through that exact same problem. This is a really good reason to write a book, because there's any problem that you've ever had, I guarantee you're not the only person who ever had that problem. And you weren't the first, you're not the only if you have it right now, and you won't be the last if you have already gotten over the problem. Somebody else is going to have that problem. They probably have it right now. If you look at my books, all I'm doing is covering issues that I have had myself, and then I say, all right, you know what, somebody else probably has this issue, so let me create something that will solve this problem. So now, and the next person who has the problem, if they look it up, they'll find me or they'll find what I created, and that problem will be solved. So take a look at what challenges you have had, and you can create something. It doesn't have to be a book. It could be a webinar, it could be a podcast, it could be an Instagram post, a status update, whatever it is you want to put out, a YouTube channel, where you are helping other people solve the problems and answer the same questions that you have had for yourself up to this point in your life. Point number 3, the topic here today is reasons. 5 reasons why you would want to write a book. Third reason is related to what I just said in point number 2, is to organize your thoughts and ideas and make them digestible. Put them into a digestible format. So if you think you know a lot about a certain subject, but you can't quite explain it to somebody else from top to bottom, you can't kind of break it down, you can't make it into a framework that somebody else could follow and understand and make sense of, writing a book will basically force you to do that. Because if you're going to write a book, it has to be organized, right? You got chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 10. You got to take people along a journey. All right, so this is the first thing you got to understand, then this, and then this. So in the process of you writing the book, you have to organize all that knowledge in your head. Maybe you'll write it down on paper, create you an outline, put it on flashcards, whatever works for you to make sense of it. Then you go write it out, and then you look through it and say, all right, does this make sense? Will somebody else understand this? Give it to someone else. Ask them, do you understand what I've written in this book? Is this actually helping you? Is it getting you to where you will want to get to when it comes to this subject? So if you think you have a lot of knowledge that is unorganized, writing a book is a great way to force yourself to organize the knowledge that you have. A lot of people have a lot of knowledge, but they can't make sense of it. Therefore, they cannot benefit from it. Now, you can't benefit from the things that you've been through and the things that you know if you can't organize them in such a way that other people can benefit from them and other people can use them. Because remember that when you write a book or you put out anything, when I do these lives every single day, or my podcast or a YouTube video or any books that I write, you're not reading it or listening or watching because of me personally. Maybe that's what drew your attention, but the reason why you continue to listen is because I'm talking about something that you're interested in. So if you're not interested in this topic, you wouldn't listen to this, and that's fine. And if I talk about a different topic and that one interests you more, you will listen. I was there both times. So why'd you listen to one and not listen to the other? It depends on what I'm talking about, right? Is it relevant to what you have going on in your life or what's on your mind or what you're interested in? If it's not, then you're going to pass on it. But if it is, then you're going to pay attention. That's just the way that it works. So when you write a book, you're organizing your ideas and thoughts in a format that will allow other people to understand. It will also force you to understand. And when you take the time to organize your ideas, here's what happens. Now you'll be able to explain it to other people a lot better. Now you can answer questions a lot better. Now that you've written it down in a book, Now you can speak about it. Now you can write an article about it. Now you can answer other people's questions about it. Now you could maybe teach this to somebody else because you had to basically teach it to yourself through writing it down. So writing a book will force you to get organized with the way that you think. So any of you listening to me right now who feels like you have a good amount of knowledge on any subject, but your ideas and your thoughts are not organized, your knowledge is not quite is not set up in a neat way that even you can make sense of it, writing a book will force you to make sense of it, and you'll be able to benefit from that over and over and over again in your life. Tim Ferriss is a guy who I would use as an example of this. He talks about when he writes his books, the very reason that he wrote a few of his books is because he had taken all these notes to help himself with a particular problem, as I just talked about. And then he said, man, I got all these notes to help me figure this out. Maybe there's someone else out there who has the same challenge. Why not write a book and I'll help a whole bunch of other people with the same problem that I need to help myself with. Point number 4, topic here today is reasons why you would want to write a book. Point number 4 is to entertain. Tucker Max, I heard him speaking recently. He talked about when he put out his first book. Those of y'all know who Tucker is. He started the whole fratire area of writing, which is basically people going out, getting drunk, and trying to have sex with as many girls as possible. That's the kind of books that he wrote. His first 3 or 4 books was all that type of book. He doesn't do that anymore. He helps people write books, but when he put those books out, he said, listen, the only reason these books became books is because I would write emails to my friends about the stuff that I was doing in college, and people thought it was so funny, and a bunch of my friends said, man, you should put these together and write a book. And he said nobody wants to read that book, and people just insisted, so he finally did it, and a whole bunch of book publishers turned him down. It's the same story everybody gets. A whole bunch of book publishers turned him down, and then he finally self-published the book did great, and then his writing career took off from that point forward. So writing a book, you may just write it to entertain. Maybe you just got a funny story. Maybe you have an interesting story. Maybe you have a story that would just get people emotionally connected, emotionally enraptured. Every time I talk to people who talk about becoming a speaker, or they want to do a TED Talk, or they want to write a book, they'll say something like, and everybody listening to me probably has said this before, I have a story. I've been through these things, I've done this stuff, and I have these experiences that I've been through. Everybody has a story. Everybody listening to me right now, if you're alive, you have a story. Everybody's been through things. Everybody's been different places. Everybody has different perspectives. Everybody's had different feelings based on what they've gone through. So since you have a story, you should write a book. All right? Even if your story is not funny, your story may not be like this great roller coaster ride. It may not be an adventure movie, but it's interesting to somebody, even if it's only to your brother or your sister or your mom or your dad or your kids. I think your kids will love to read your story, to know what kind of person you were and how you became the type of person that you are, who became their mother or their father. So that story can entertain other people. And understand, entertainment doesn't have to mean funny. Entertainment just means it keeps people's attention. All right, that's all entertainment is. Many writers out there, I got 6 tips here. I said 5, but I actually got 6, if y'all don't mind me over-delivering. So many writers out there have this gift for being entertaining, and a book is one of them. But again, doesn't have to be funny. It could be just keeping people on the edge of their seats, a page turner. They go to the movies, and how the movie just keeps you watching. A book can be the exact same way with somebody who's a great writer. Point number 5. The topic here today is reasons why you will want to write a book. I put 5, but I actually got 6. Number 5 is to entertain. No, I just said that. Number 5 is exploring your imagination. So this could be any of you who like to write novels, or you're into fiction. That means making up a story that didn't even happen. I'm not into fiction writing, but fiction books actually outsell nonfiction by a huge margin. So I'm a nonfiction writer, meaning I write about things like self-help and business and basketball and things like that. But fiction writing, where people just create a story out of nowhere and turn it into a whole thing. I mean, the movie industry is based on this. Television is based on this. What else? Even reality TV. It's supposed to be reality, but we know it's all a whole bunch of made-up stories. They're all based on people making up stories out of nowhere and then putting them on the screen or putting them in a book. And people love this stuff. And people love the imaginary stuff that gets made up more than they even love the real reality stuff that actually happens. So if you have that type of imagination, I don't think I do, and even if I did, I don't want to write books about it. But any of you who does, there's a huge market of people who want to read those books. And number 6, last one, today's topic is why you will want to write a book. It's for therapy reasons, therapeutical reasons why you will want to write a book. And what I mean is, Let's say you got some things on your mind that you've never shared with anybody, some things that you need to work through mentally, some things you need to get through emotionally, but you haven't quite gotten through them yet. You don't quite understand them yet. You haven't made sense of them. Writing a book where you take all the things that are in your head and you actually put them down on paper, whether that be digital paper or physical paper. Putting things down on paper will force you and your brain to come to terms with the things that you've gone through in your life, to come to terms with the type of person you are, to come to terms with the ideas you've had, the actions you've taken, the actions you didn't take, any regrets you have, any sadness, any fear, sorrow, anger, joy, happiness, frustration, love, hate, whatever energies and emotions that you have within you. Taking everything that's happened and actually putting it down on paper. You're actually telling the story again to yourself as you're writing it down. To write something down, you got to remember what happened, right? Then you got to think about it. Then you got to say, oh yeah, this happened. Oh yeah, that happened. And I felt this way. And I said this. And this person did this. And I responded this way. You got to basically retell that whole story in your own mind in order to write it, right? Because you got to think it to write it, right? It's not like the words just come out of you and you're not thinking at all. You're thinking about it and you're writing. And when you hit the right vein when it comes to writing, you'll be thinking things faster than your fingers can even type the words out. And when that happens with me, I know I'm in the flow. I know I'm writing the right type of thing. When I wrote this book right here, Work on Your Game, that's exactly what happened. I started getting in the flow, and I was thinking of things faster than I can even type. And I type pretty damn fast. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing for it to be therapy. I want y'all to understand. Therapy doesn't mean your life is in shambles and then you go see somebody. Now, that could be a reason you go to therapy, but therapy doesn't have to be that. Therapy is just a way for you to, on a really basic level, surface level, to just get in touch with what's going on in your inner mind, what's going on in your thoughts, and just having someone to talk to. So writing a book is your chance to talk to yourself, and if you put the book out, then you're actually talking to the world at the same time. So telling a great story can be just as therapeutic as, you know, going to somebody's office and sitting on the couch. So now let me recap these points, which is the many reasons why you would want to write a book. If somebody got a question, I will address it after I go through this recap, and then I'll tell you about how you can get these 2 books right here for free right now. You don't have to write these books. You can get these books and you can read them. Number 1, for business purposes. You can expand or create your audience, raise your fees, sell products, get a job, build a business. Writers of all genres do this. You don't have to make money specifically from the sales of your book. You can make money from the attention that you create because you wrote a book and because it was a good book and it helped a whole bunch of people. That can get you attention just by the sheer fact that you put the book out. Number 2, helping other people. Maybe you have dealt with a serious challenge in your life. You realize, hey, I had this challenge. A lot of other people probably had the same challenge. Why don't I write a book about it or create a podcast or put a YouTube video out helping people with the same challenge that I had? And there's a market of people out there with it. So whatever challenges you've had in your life that you resolved, you weren't the first one to have it. You won't be the last, and you're not the only one that has it right now. Help somebody else out. Point number 3, to organize your thoughts and ideas and make them digestible. So maybe you got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that you're thinking, but you don't quite know what to do with it, or you haven't ever made sense of it in your own mind. Writing a book will force you to make sense of it because you have to organize the book. Because other people who don't have your thoughts, they can't read your brain. They can only go off what you write on paper. So if you write what you write down doesn't make sense, then if it doesn't make sense to you, it won't make sense to anybody else. So you force yourself to make sense of what's in your brain when you write things down. Number 4, to entertain. Tucker Max is a guy who spent his first couple books was all about entertaining people, and they were very funny books. He was just telling stories of wild things he was doing when he was in college with girls and drinking, etc., etc. Some people have that type of lifestyle that if they can put it into words, articulate it well enough, it can be funny. That's a very hard thing to do. It's like being a comedian, but you're doing it through a book. Not easy to do, but if you have that skill, you might as well give it a shot. And if it's terrible, nobody's going to know anyway. And point number 5, exploring your imagination. Many fiction writers do this. People who make TV shows and make movies do this. And fiction outsells nonfiction by a huge margin. So any of you who have that brain, that creativity where you could just create a story from nothing, get into the fiction world. There's a lot of money in it. Point number 6, last one, therapy. Taking what's in your head and writing it down helps you get it out of your system in a way, and that can be therapeutic in itself. Just getting it out of your head and being able to share it. Even if you just write it down and read it to yourself and never send it to anybody, even if only your kids get it 20 years after you die, or if you put it out to the world and it becomes a #1 bestseller, it can be therapeutic just sharing what is in your mind. And understand therapy does not have to be something negative. It doesn't have to be some trauma that you went through in your life. It could be even something positive. It could just be going over your life and you've had a good life, but being able to put it out there will let you flush it out of your system. And I guarantee it will help you mentally in more ways than one. Now, all that being said, let me tell you how you can get both of these books for free right now, anywhere in the world that you are. We just shipped about 15 of these out today. This book right here is called The Mirror of Motivation, the self-guide to self-discipline. I wrote this book for anyone out there who wants to step out of the old version of you, step into the new version of you, change your energy, change the way you are being, change your psychology, change your approach to your everyday life, the way you see yourself in the mirror. When you change that, the exact same actions as before, you will get completely different results. If you are the type of person that I just described and you're looking to become that, change your energy and get different results, even with the same actions as before. Just because you're approaching life differently and you see yourself differently and you want other people to see you differently, go to mirrorofmotivation.com. The book is free. You just take care of the shipping. Mirrorofmotivation.com. This book right here is called Overseas Basketball Blueprint, the self-guide to self-discipline. I wrote this book for anyone who wants to play professional basketball overseas. It's 237 pages. I give you the full blueprint of how to start your career playing basketball overseas, even if you come from a small school, even if you did not go to school at all, even if you have no type of resume, no game film, no connections, no agent, no nothing, but you feel like you got the talent to play basketball overseas and you want to get one of those few coveted jobs that you actually get paid to play basketball, a job that only 0.1% of athletes ever have in their lives. If you want that job, and it is a great job, trust me, go to balloverseas.com. Balloverseas.com. The book is paid for. All you do is take care of the shipping. Balloverseas.com. All that said, I think there was a question in the comment section. I'll see if there is one, and I will address it right now. Kelvin0107. What's going on? Jeff said, I'm going door to door to get more clients for my business. I'll admit I get nervous and wonder if you had any tips. Yes, just keep going door to door. Keep knocking. Every time you get nervous, knock on another door. That's the biggest tip I can give you. Do it anyway, basically what I'm saying. Lord GBA, checking in from Nigeria. I appreciate you. Shout out to Nigeria. Shout out to Africa. Sports Lover says, on your story, did I say victims of police brutality are at fault? I never said that. If you're going to try to paraphrase me, you got to quote me correctly. I never said that, so absolutely not. Try harder. Somebody asked me, did I read 50's book? Yes, I did. I think I read it like the day it came out. So whatever day it came out, I think it was April sometime. This book came out in the middle of the whole COVID-19. But I think he did pretty well anyway. 50's pretty famous, so I think he was all right. Now this book right here is called Work on Your Game, using the pro athlete mindset to dominate your game in business, sports, and life. This book right here is where I took my whole mental game philosophy from the sports world to the entrepreneurship world, professional speaking world, the online creating content, brand influencing world, and I took all the frameworks, all the mental tools that I learned, all the strategies that I applied to get from nothing to something in multiple areas of life, and I put it in this book right here. I'm giving you the framework here in this book. So this is not a how-to book to be an athlete or a basketball player or a speaker or to write books. You don't have to have any of those desires to get value from what is in this book, because I'm giving you the strategy that applies to anyone, anywhere. You can get this book at workonyourgamebook.com along with $1,200 in immediate digital bonuses as soon as you order the book. This is hardcover book too. As soon as you order the book, while you're waiting for the book to come in the mail, you get access to over $1,200 in digital bonuses. That's at workonyourgamebook.com. It's workonyourgamebook.com for this book right here. These two books, I told you they already paid for. All you do is take care of the shipping. Mirrorofmotivation.com, balloverseas.com. Megan TAA, what's going on? So everybody, for those of you who don't know, I do these lives every single day, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. I think I started a couple minutes late here today. We gotta make sure we're on time tomorrow. So I will be on time tomorrow, 5:15 p.m. Eastern. If I change the time, I'll say it in my story. So if you don't know what time I'm going on, just follow my story. I'll always tell you if anything has changed. If I don't say nothing, that means the time is the same. That's every day, 5:15. I do take these lives on, I do them on Facebook too. So if you're on Facebook, it's /workonyourgame. You already know my IG at Dre Baldwin. I do put these on YouTube as well, but it might be like a month before this video actually comes out on YouTube because I got a whole schedule. But I do put vids out on YouTube every day. So if you miss one of my lives, just subscribe to my YouTube and you will eventually catch it when it comes out. But I would suggest you catch it every day right here. And Work on Your Game University, if you want to hear me give a live, not a live, but a full masterclass, a brand new full masterclass every single day. is at Work on Your Game University. That is a membership, but I'm gonna give you your first 2 weeks for free. Because Work on Your Game University, that masterclass is at a level that I can't get it out for free. I gave it out for free for a while, and I said I can't get this for free no more because it's too good. It's on that level. And if you don't believe me, go to Work on Your Game University. I give you your first 2 weeks free. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, you can just let me know. Send me an email and tell me. Megan says, I appreciate your motivational vids on YouTube and your podcast. Yeah, just like I said, Work on Your Game University. Said, I want to become great one day for sure. Well, you're on the right path. If you're at Work on Your Game University, that's what we do. We graduate greatness. Anybody who comes to Work on Your Game University is on the path to greatness. That's just the way it works. There's no other way around it. So everybody, these lives every day. I will be live again about 24 hours from now. And just follow my story on IG. I talk about a lot of things along the way. I posted some stuff on my story here today. A couple people was asking me something about it. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. Maybe I won't. We'll see. I just decide each time. Work on your game. We out here. Dre all day.